Over 2,000 years ago, ancient Chinese scholars observed the changing patterns in our natural world, the climate, the turning of the seasons, and astronomy. The scholars measured and divided the sun's annual movements into 24 equal parts, creating the 24 solar terms, which were used to govern agriculture in ancient China. Even to this day, this invention still guides the lives and traditions of hundreds of millions of Chinese people. Around the 23rd of July each year, the hottest solar term arrives, the Great Heat. During this time, crops of the warm season enjoy their fastest period of growth. Traditionally, people eat ginger and pineapples and pray for good health and blessings of prosperity. The Great Heat is the 12th solar term out of the 24. It has both the longest daylight hours and the highest temperatures of the year. Under this intense heat, many people choose to escape to the cooler climates of the north. As for myself, seeking to experience the true magnitude of this solar term, I came to one of China's hottest inland cities, Chongqing, a place that Chinese people have nicknamed the Furnace. Chongqing is a geological basin. Surrounded by mountains on all sides, its terrain makes it very difficult for heat to disperse. And as a result, the summers here are both incredibly long and intense. With Chongqing's large areas of water, the air is humid too. At the arrival of the Great Heat solar term, the entire city turns into a steaming and sizzling sauna. Well, as I travel this incredible country and experience all of these amazing seasons, this has had to be probably the hardest one so far. Not only is the heat that makes the city hard, but it is also all of these hills and mountains that make it almost impossible to build. Now, 30 years ago, what's behind me here was those old stilt buildings. But now it is transformed into this incredible megatropolis of 30 million people, which is hard to comprehend. And that has all come from the hard work and sweat and determination of the incredible people of Chongqing. On the streets of Chongqing, something immediately caught my attention. The people of Chongqing call them bang bang, meaning quite literally bamboo pole.那平常你是周末得休息吧？
都不休息，
都不休息。
哎，只有春节回去休息。
就整天都上班？
整天都上班，整天都吃老棒棒找钱。
就到春节就休息几天？
哎，春节回去休息一个星期嘛。
一个星期？嗯。歇一会儿。
要得。
哎，我跟不上你，我都没有太东西。
因为重庆那个地方嘛，它山高路不平的，要梯坎不要棒棒是不得行的啊。
那还得挺远的。还
有远呢，那远一直上面都是梯坎，都是这样。
这个货我们还得拉，一会儿要不你迟到了是吗？走，
要得，走吧，
走。
好，
要得，
要得呀，
要得，走。In Chongqing, the Yangtze and the Jialing rivers meet. Ever since ancient times, it has been one of China's most important inland trade ports. As the entire city is built on mountainous terrain, leaving the house often means climbing hills. Trade products and ordinary household merchandise all require a considerable amount of labor to carry. And with this, the bangbang, wielding a meter-long bamboo shoulder pole, was created. Chongqing people have long been accustomed to this style of living. From furniture to household appliances to groceries, if you cannot do it, you only need to call Bang Bang, and a porter will come to help immediately. It is said at its peak, the city once held 400,000 Bang Bang workers. Today, following the city's development, convenient public facilities are now widespread, like this escalator, stretching to 112 meters in length, the longest in Chongqing. Life in the mountainous city of Chongqing has become much easier than before, and so Bang Bang workers began to decline, although they have not yet completely disappeared. Relying on a bamboo pole for a living is a hard life, but is also genuinely liberating, and it reflects the wild and unyielding character of the Chongqing people.
可不可以？
还行。
还行哈，要得哈。
我干这个啊，确实是太累。
啊是，因为
真的特别累，也不光是累，也是热。今天都36度呢，你还能保持时间长？我真的。
因为我是重庆的棒棒墩嘛，经常搞那个挣钱，没得办法呀。
啊，再干不了了，再歇一会儿。
好，要得。放到嘛，放到。
哎，
好热呀！
喝多了。哎。
走，吃饭，坐到起。
吃饭，这你吃饭的地方。好。
你吃点啥子，小儿？
你吃什么？
我吃稀饭凉面。
那我跟你一样。
老板，你给我来一碗稀饭凉面。
In the sweltering temperatures of the great heat solar term, cold noodles are probably the most appropriate meal to have. Thin noodles are rinsed under cold water after boiling, then mixed with vegetable oil and left to cool a bit more. Before eating, ginger and garlic sauce are added with citron pepper oil. It looks simple, but it's spicy, cold, and refreshing. The afternoon sun is the most relentless. Even with shoes, it burns the feet. When I used to live in England, I thought 30 degrees Celsius in the summer was hot. Here, it feels more like 40 or even 50 degrees Celsius. I'm really looking forward to getting an iced coffee and sneaking away to somewhere with air conditioning. However, Bang Bang workers spend any time they have cooling off in public spaces by the street side. 我好凉快呢。
你得坐到歇会儿嘛，坐到那里歇会儿。
Air raid shelters. These were built into the mountains during the Second World War, serving as shelters in the event of an airstrike. Today, it has been refurbished into a natural cooling spot for the public. Yet, in order to adapt to the extreme temperatures of the summer months, Chongqing's people's ingenious ideas in building designs do not end here. Professor of Architecture, Ouyang of Chongqing University is a researcher in the field of mountain region settlements in Chongqing, and is also a specialist in modern architecture design. He has an extensive understanding of Chongqing's peculiar mountain region architecture. 这就是你画的？
这幅画呢是10年前。
10年前。
10年前哦，但是它那个景观是20多年前的了。
20多年前的重庆，那10年前画的。
它是画的是比较典型的那个重庆3D 城市建筑那么一个景观。 它都是在一些不好用的坡地和崖壁上面搭房子。
它就跟着那个伞的形状来走。
跟着山的形状，山的那个走势，都是半封闭，有些有点开敞。
开场的。
它那个为啥子呢？就是为了那个江风吹进来，既能透风，它又能遮阳光。这是小巷，巷里面一个小的街道。越热，它越围到一起吃火锅呀，或者是喝啤酒啊，就在街边边就可以大家围一桌就可以吃饭。
The mountains around Chongqing are filled with lush bamboo forests. Because of this, most traditional buildings are constructed with bamboo and are not easy to preserve. The modernization of urban cities has not helped either. Much of the architecture in Professor Ouyang's paintings have now ceased to exist. Because of my inquisitiveness, as well as wanting to escape from the burning heat of the city, Professor Ouyang offered to take me to a historical town an hour away from the city centre. If we're lucky, we might find traces of the traditional stilt houses.
有一个故事，就是有一对夫妻住在那个山顶上面。住在山顶上面呢，他的那个丈夫为了妻子上下山方便，用了50年的时间，来开造了那么一个石梯。
这个就是爱情
天梯。
他花了50年
，50年时间6千级，一个人。
哇！Living in Chongqing's uneven mountainous terrain is not easy. The people here have always struggled for a little more living space. Beneath my feet is the path that locals call the Stairway of Love. It is perhaps the most romantic image of the persistence and unwavering character of the Chongqing people. Even though the bamboo forests offer shade, the ancient town is not exactly cool, but it's a lot more manageable than in the city. We took a casual stroll and came upon an open area of water. 这就是吊脚楼，
这是吊脚楼。它基本上那个吊脚楼就是在一个坡上。用那个吊脚的方式把那个作为支撑。以前的吊脚都是那个木柱，木柱，现在它都发展成那个钢筋水泥了。
It's not quite how I imagined a bamboo house to look like, but it matched Professor Ouyang's description of a traditional stilt house structure. The principal room is built on the ground. The wing rooms are connected to the main room, and has one side resting on the hillside. Its other 3 sides are suspended above ground by stilts. Resting beside mountains and suspended above waters, this type of building has endured thousands of years of Chinese history. This area of buildings beside the mountain was once a tobacco marketplace. Today, it is a residential area designed to keep cool during the summer. I buy a umbrella. This is how much? $5. $5. 一个5块，谢谢，都是他自己弄的。
上去2块，竹子，都是竹编。
谢谢啊。In periods with no air conditioning, these hand-woven bamboo fans are Chongqing's people's most valuable source of relief against the summer heat. Despite bamboo buildings being extremely difficult to preserve, this ancient town has nonetheless managed to retain buildings that are hundreds of years old.
它的高度有10米。
10米啊！
建筑的特色，它就是它的那个屋顶上，基本上是全封闭，晴不露光，雨不湿鞋。晴天的再大的太阳，它里面都是阴凉的。下雨天呢，你鞋那个鞋子都是干的。
是挺凉快。
哎，
外边都30多度，
就感觉到
快40度
快，
然后真的里面这个现在感觉大概是25度，
哎
25左右。
可能。现在商场的那个室内均匀空间也有借鉴，
是吧？
哎，也有借鉴。
In the contemporary world, the hilly terrain of the densely populated and bustling city of Chongqing is seen as a valuable resource. Its unique geography and climate have pushed architects to the limits of imagination. Combining architecture with the natural environment, they have created a truly unique Chongqing style of architecture. Chongqing people, of all Chinese people, love chili the most. Even in the melting heat of the great heat solar term, they refuse to be parted from their red chili peppers.
辣椒，
一大堆辣椒呢。
有2个品种的辣椒，这个要辣一点，
这辣一点。
哎，那个可能要。
你怎么能看出来？
它那个要尖一点的嘛，要尖一些。
吃辣椒你不会更热吗？
吃辣椒它主要就是祛湿。
吃完这个就能凉快是吧？
哦，
吃这个就出汗就凉快，
出汗就凉快了。
Beautiful. Hot pots with chilies as their main ingredient are of course Chongqing's most popular and most welcome speciality. Chongqing people believe that the great heat solar term is the perfect time to enjoy this spicy cuisine.
火锅就是最早是前夫开始吃的这么一个东西。走到哪儿吃到哪儿。
越是亲密的朋友，聊天的时候吃火锅可以吃很久，大家边吃边聊。
有什么情况不能吃火锅呢？
什么情况不能吃火锅？
感觉在重庆没有。是我们平常自己在家也要做火锅。
With hot, mouth-watering chilies and soup steaming up in the air, all in the lively company of friends around me, I could feel the beads of sweat trickling down my skin. The frantic buzz of the day fades away. At least for me, this is truly one of the most pleasant experiences of the great heat solar term.
重庆人就叫凶气。
凶气，
凶气，凶气，
凶气，
好，凶气，
凶气，
好听。
哦，凶气，
凶气。Under the cover of night, I was finally able to escape the great heat of Chongqing. Millenniums have passed by. Our environment and lifestyles have experienced incredible transformations. But what has remained unchanged is the continuous turning of the solar terms and the determination of humankind throughout hundreds of thousands of years to adapt and flourish in nature's challenges.